Last year, I called them the biggest underdog, the biggest sleeper in the league. And this year, I think it's true again because the Detroit Pistons got nothing but better. Yes, Malik Beasley and his whole situation is still a little bit up in the air, but even if they don't get that resolved, they still have a squad. If they do get it resolved and bring back Malik Beasley, you're talking about a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference this year in Detroit, where a lot of quote-unquote experts are saying they're going to regress. I'm not buying it. And this is a team that last year, I came on here and said they were going to take the leap, essentially. And behind a 24-year-old Cade Cunningham, he was 23 last year, of course, they took that leap. And y'all didn't believe me. So this year, I think, they got to bring back Malik Beasley. That's the big question mark here as they head into October. But bringing in guys like Duncan Robinson and Caris LeVert to help stretch the floor. Caris LeVert's a great 3-and-D wing off the bench that can be a potential 6-man of the year candidate if he's in that 6-man role. If not, he can play his role wherever. Cade at 6'6", 215, just a big-time physical body, pick and roll specialist as well. I mean, he carved up the Knicks in the playoffs. Even though he wasn't the most efficient, he was still carving them up. Last year, he averaged 26, 9, and 6 in 35 minutes a game, 47% shooting from the field, 36% from 3 on 7 attempts. One of the best young point guards, if not the best young point guard in the league. I mean, there is a ton of good young point guards, but under 25, is Cade the best? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Just signed that 5-year, $270 million contract, so he's not going anywhere. But my favorite thing about what the Pistons did, sure, they had a good offseason. The best part was, though, when you look at their cap situation, they still have $30 million before they hit the first apron, so they can bring back a guy like Malik Beasley, or just going into next year to go ahead and, you see this roster, see how it performs, and then take the next step. Looking at Cade, though, the development year after year, everything's just going up. So maybe in year 5 we see him shoot 38% from 3. That would be really nice. Maybe 39 if we're lucky. That'd be a big time year for Cade Cunningham. And I mean, what he did last year for this team, taking them to the playoffs, of course, averaging 25, 9, and 8 with 3.1 stocks in 41 minutes. Don't look at the three-point efficiency, 43% from the field overall. But it was a great year for Cade as he was able to do a lot of things. OG and McCall Bridges, both great wings that are 3-and-D guys. And they were going at Cade all series long, and Cade did not crack. Yes, he didn't shoot great from beyond the arc, but he was a walking paint touch, was able to get his guys open looks, and almost led the Pistons to a win over the Knicks. A questionable call in the deciding game of that series. But let's talk about Jaden Ivey now. Let's not get the Pistons fans too angry in the comment section. Ivey missed 52 games last year. He played the first 30, and then we never saw him again due to injury. And the fact that the Pistons were able to finish as the 6th seed without arguably their second best player and Cade Cunningham's backcourt partner. I mean, Ivey's 6'4" with a 6'10" wingspan, so you can throw him at the 2. He's got good enough length and athleticism to play the 2 without a doubt. He averaged almost 18 points a game with 4 assists and 4 boards last year in 30 minutes a game, and he even shot 41% from 3 on 5 attempts. He's been an up and down 3-point shooter throughout his career, but now up to 41% on 5 attempts. That's really exciting if you are a Pistons fan, especially for this year. Ivey will be 23 years old, so a guy that is still, by all means, developing. I mean, he's nowhere near his peak, but the fact that he only got to play 30 games last year is very upsetting. Now, let's take a look at the additions, right? They bring in Duncan Robinson. They bring in Caris LeVert. LeVert comes over from Atlanta, where he spent the second half of the season after getting shipped over there from Cleveland. They give him a 2-year, $29 million deal. So he's getting paid some good money to come in and play off the bench here in Detroit. A plug-and-play starter when necessary. 6'6" with a 6'10" wingspan. Great depth piece, because Caris is one of those guys, if you catch him on the right night, you'd think he's one of the best players in the league if you didn't really know ball. With Atlanta, he averaged 15 points, close to 4 rebounds and 3 assists in 26 minutes, while shooting 47% from the field and 37% from 3 on 4.5 attempts per game. It was a really good year for Caris LeVert this year in Atlanta, and if he continues, if he puts up what he put up in Atlanta for Detroit as the perfect 3-and-D wing around Cade Cunningham, around Jaden Ivey and guys like that, then he's going to be earning every single penny that they paid him of that $14.5 million annually contract. Now, as for Duncan Robinson, the benefits of bringing him in are pretty obvious, right? He's going to stretch the floor. He's going to shoot the 3-ball exceptionally well. They bring him in on a 3-year, $48 million deal. But after that first year, none of it's guaranteed. So this is actually a really good contract. It's essentially a 1+1+1 deal if the Pistons want to continue to bring him in. 11 points a game with 2.5 boards and 2.5 assists. Shot 44% from the field, 39% from 3 on 6.5 attempts. And like I said, if they don't like the fit, then he can just leave. But he's an elite spacer, so I think the fit will be perfect around guys like Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, as we mentioned, who are elite at getting to the rim. So Duncan Robinson, I think, is a fantastic addition. They lose Tim Hardaway Jr. and potentially Malik Beasley. We'll see. Replace him with these two guys. But while Duncan Robinson is great, it'd be amazing if the Pistons could get back a guy like Malik Beasley, who was 1 3-pointer away from leading the league last year. Ant beat him out by a single 3. He made 319. Ant made 320. Beasley last year averaged 16 points, close to 3 rebounds, an assist and a half in 28 minutes a game, while shooting 43% from the field and 42% from 3 on 9 attempts, and was very close, like I said, to leading the league in 3-pointers made. He was probably the biggest surprise for the Pistons last year. He's an unrestricted free agent right now, however. Now, he has said he would like to come back to Detroit, so we'll see if they can make that happen. But everything that was going on this summer kind of threw a wrench into Detroit's offseason plans, and they had to punt to guys like Karis LeVert and Duncan Robinson. This is what the starting lineup will look like next season. If I was the coach, obviously I'm not a coach for a reason, so we could change that out. Malik Beasley potentially coming back at the backup 2 would be huge. If not, they have other options there that they can go to, like a Marcus Sasser or somebody like that, who's still a great option. But speaking of former top picks, let's take a look at Ron Holland, because him in the Summer League this year, after spending an entire offseason with the Pistons shooting coach, that jumper looks smooth. Let's take a look at it last year, where it's got a little bit of a hitch in it when he brings it up. Still pretty fluent overall, but now he's just, that is butter right there. That release looks perfect. Like right here, off the dribble, a little bit of a hitch coming across his body, but now it is just cash as he's getting downhill still. He's still got the athleticism that was the reason he was the number 5 overall pick in the draft. 6'7" with a 6'11" wingspan. You know, shows a lot of passion when he's out there playing. And then this is exciting. Coming out of the pick and roll, snatched back into a 3-ball. That's dangerous. He averaged 6.5 points and close to 3 rebounds last year in 19 minutes a game. Played 81 games, shot 47% from the field, 24% from 3 overall. Tenacious defensively. And then speaking of defenders, of course, we got to throw in Azar Thompson, because he's going to be a huge piece to what this Pistons team is going to be doing next year. 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan, and obviously him and his brother are 2 of the best defenders in the league. Just absolute freak athletes. Watch him trail Zach LaVine here. Old clip, I know, from his rookie season, but he's just really good. Josh Giddey gets back door. Doesn't matter. We're going to volleyball spike it into the cheerleaders. 11 points a game, 5 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1.7 steals in 23 minutes while shooting 54% from the field. If the 3-point percentage goes up, just like with his brother, if either of the Thompson twins get their 3-pointer figured out, then, man, watch out for these 2 guys, because they are already 2 of the best defenders in the league. Like I said, if you turn these guys into 3-and-D wings, look out. But that's the ultimate goal for what the Pistons are going to be doing. They got one of the best shooting coaches in the league. Still got Tobias Harris, who we haven't really talked about today. He is going to be the number 3 option for the Pistons this year, unless Malik Beasley comes back. Even then, though, he's still probably going to be the number 3. Jalen Duren as well, Isaiah Stewart. But yeah, you can see why I'm high on the Pistons. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and with that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.